What's up, guys? Cucu here with a Diablo video. Now, this video was supposed to be posted like yesterday, maybe day before, but it didn't get posted for a particular reason. You see, I did a guide, the video was done, well, not like done as in edited, but done as in like I had the recorded footage. Well, I have been playing a lot lately, and due to some playing around with certain items, and just really pushing my character, I got way farther in graders than I thought I ever could. Like, when I made that video, I was pushing 43s. When I am posting the new footage now, I'm doing 55s. So it's definitely gotten a lot better. And so I just wanted to kind of show you guys what I've been doing to get that far. And basically, there's like a cookie cutter items of what you need for your cube and everything. I'm going to be showing you those, but I'm also going to be showing you the variations I used to get as far as I did without them. So, enjoy, and here we go! Alright guys, so here is the item portion for my Hammer of the Ancients Barb guide. Now, I have been changing this up a lot here recently. Number one, because getting a furnace is really difficult. Number two, unities are difficult to get, and so are focus and restraints. So I'm gonna be going over exactly what you need real quick, like the basics, the have-tos. So in order to really get the ball rolling, you need your 6-set IK, which is boots, pants, belt, chest, gloves, and a helm, which are all, that's the good stuff. Just because of the set bonuses for IK, call the Ancients last until they die, reduce the cooldown of Wrath of Berserker, and call the Ancients every 10 Fury you spend when you attack. And then, while both Wrath and Berserker and Call the Ancients are active, you do 250% more damage. It's just straight up brutal, and it's a must. You have to have it in order to really push anything. Now, the weapon you have to have for this build is the Gavel of Judgment, which it has a base damage of Hammer of the Ancients. Like mine has a 37%, but a max of 40% just increased damage to Hammer of the Ancients. It also has a buff on it called Hammer of the Ancients Return 22 Fury if it hits 3 or fewer enemies, which is basically, it makes you have infinite mana. And that's why even running with a Taeguk is okay, because you're not having to stop to generate. It's just straight smashing all the time. The shoulders you need are Fury of the Ancients, which Call the Ancients gain the effect of the Ancients Fury rune, which is just the rune that when they attack you get Fury back. That way you don't have to run that while it's going. You can use the together as one rune. Okay, now the rings you need are Focus and Restraint, of course, which when you use a spender you get 50% increased damage buff. When you use a generator, you get a 50% damage buff. So that's why you use Furious Charge as your generator to give you half the ring buff, and Fury of the Ancients gives you the other half. The neck is personal preference. I know Hellfire Amulets are very encouraged, just because like mine gives me the Rampage buff. But I know a buddy of mine who does honestly better than I do. And he runs the Poison Neck just because the Rat guy as the Rift Guardian is really brutal without it. And just, just an element, having an element that you can just kind of sit in and not worry about is kind of nice. So it's up to you guys what you want there. The preferred braces are Strong Arms, which just when enemies hit by knockbacks, enemies hit by knockbacks suffer 20% more damage for 5 seconds when they land. Now, this is a maximum of 30. I, of course, am me, so I have the lowest roll possible. And it's just so when you Furious Charge into them, you can just swing at them and you're hitting them for a lot harder. Now, those are like the have-to items. It's basically, that's the setup you need. Now, I pushed a 53 without either one of these, without Focus or Restraint, which I just used 2 rings that had a lot of crit damage and strength on them in a socket. So, those aren't needed to get into the 50s, but anything higher, you basically need it. You end up having to go more tanky, and so you need stuff like that to buff your damage. Strong arms are the preferred bracers you need, just for the knock-up, increase damage. But I didn't have this for a while, and so I use steady strikers. It's just, 7% attack speed along with your crit chance. I want to say Lacuni Prowlers are probably solid as well. For the Kanye Cube, which is like the big difference maker this season, there are 3 items you need, and there's some variation to that. Now, like I said, Unity is the item you need. It is going to be the ring and your cube that will carry you anything higher Rift. Anything way up there, it's just a have to. There's too much random damage going out for you to not have it. And so you're going to want that in your cube. You're going to want bracers of the first men, which is just insane to me that they even made this item. Hammer of the Ancients attacks 50% faster and deals 200% increased damage. So, if you see that and you're not like, man, why would I even use that? Nah, I'll punch you in the goobs. Bam, in the goobs. Alright, so you want that. Now, you need the Furnace, which gives you the passive buff of increases damage against elites by 50%. Now, of course, I haven't got one to drop for me this season, even though I'm like 400 Paragon. But I will tell you something. This weapon right here, Maddox Sorrow, which stuns an enemy for 2 seconds the first time you hit them, literally carried me to 53. It is brutal. It is a great weapon for Hammer, because Hammer hits really hard. And so, that 2-second stun works. And I was just curious because, I've been trying to extract all these different weapon powers and whatnot. And I was like, let's try this one out. And it worked. Like, I was mind blown of how well it worked. Now, here's the situation on that. While I was pushing and got to 53, I didn't have a Unity. So you don't need a Unity to get to 50s as a Barb. I used a Convention of Elements, which, it cycles through the different elements, and whenever it's on an element, attacks of that type deal 200% increased damage. So for me, when that fire rolled over, ooh girl, it was beautiful. So that was comboed, so I would stun them with my Maddox Sorrow, and then the Convention would be rolling, and I'd be smacking hard like a train. And it worked really well. Like, I was so proud of that combo. It got me it got me as far as I got. Now, here's the thing. So, I finally got Unity to drop. So, I was able to equip that. Now, when I used Convention of Elements, I had to play way safer than normal. Because you don't have the damage reduction, so you're taking some stuff to the face. You just are. You can't just, you can get away with standing in some stuff with Unity. But, so with Convention, I had to, I had to skip more, elite packs. Electrified, Fire Chain, Uber trash garbage. You just gotta say, oh, no, I gotta move on. Now, I did come up with a method that I like to call the 300 method. If you guys seen the movie 300, when the Persians are attacking Leonidas and them, they're on that really narrow strand. And it's like, yes, there's 1,000 bajillion Persians, but not all of them can fit in this tiny little walkway, you want to call it. And so Leonidas and them posted up, and so those enemies had to come a few at a time to fight them because not all of the enemy could fit. Well, I was like, well, that method should work. I can't personally take on all these dudes. So, okay, you see this big open area right here? If this was surrounded by enemies, if I were to just run over here and try to fight them, I'd have guys hitting me from every angle, and it just wouldn't work. I'd be getting my butt kicked. And so I was like, why don't I just make it to where the enemies have to come to me and kind of bottleneck them? And so, okay, let's get an example. Okay, so see them right here. Let's say there's a boatload of enemies, maybe an elite or two, hanging out in this big, okay, maybe it's not that big, but this big area. Now, I could easily run in here, try to fight them. I'd be having dudes come down the stairs, hitting me from all sides. Or, what I would do for the 300 method is I would either try to tank them around this corner or bring them back here to align a sight them so that way, you don't have, spears and garbage and fireballs and spirit bombs coming at your face. I would wait on them, And yes, you have to do that with certain packs. You can't do that with every single pull, or else you're not going to make the time. So big packs of stuff, I would simply line aside them, make them come a few at a time, and then I could continuously just smash and make them line up. Because, like I said, if you have all these enemies, you're having to be like, Hammer of the Ancients, bam, 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 bam. And so you're having to just do multiple swings for maybe just a couple of guys, when you do this method, you have several of them lined up in a row. So you're like, oh, Mad Oxara with the stun, bam, Hammer of the Ancients, blam, 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 blam. And it really worked. You have to play, it's playing safe, but it got the job done. And, oh man, it kicked butt. I was really proud of that 53 I did. Now, like I said, so now that I have the Unity, that comes on, but we lose the damage buff from Convention of Elements. So no longer the uber fire damage at one point, but we take a lot less damage with Unity. So, say this big area is covered in enemies, and so we're gonna pretend that there's a bunch of enemies here, and there's like 3 enemies here, and I'm like, oh man, there's only like 3 dudes here. This is not gonna help me on my time. I need to go ahead. I need to go through here and round up some dudes and go pop, 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 pop. When you're without Unity and the higher rifts, you're like, okay, maybe I have to kill these guys, but if that way they're hitting me from the back, then I can try to bottleneck some of these dudes over here around this corner. But with Unity, it's like, okay, group a bunch of these dudes up, bam, 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 kill them, run through some of them, who cares, blam, 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 kill another big pack. You can play more aggressively and be more picky on the mobs that you want to kill, because you have the survivability to kind of run through and maybe skip some of the little stuff, because they're not going to follow you around and beat you up. Now, like I said, you lose the damage buff from Convention, and honestly, I hit 55 and I could really tell. I could tell in the 54 I did. Not having the big damage buff, not seeing those big numbers at one point, and to make the run take a little longer. So what I've realized now is that while Maddox Sorrow is beautiful, it works better with Convention of Elements in your ring. Now that I have the Unity, I don't need Maddox. I'm trying to replace it currently with a Furnace, which, like I said, gives a 50% damage buff to elites, which is the extra kicker you need. So it's like, I'm almost invincible with Unity, as long as I'm not standing in poo. I can afford to not get the stun and blow people up with the Furnace. It's just a good combo, and that's what you want. But basically, that's what I did, and that, like I said, you don't need Unities and Focus Restraints to get to the 50s. You have to play really safe, and you have to kind of learn your Barb and learn what you can take, having to play safe, own little methods of surviving, but you can do it, because I didn't think I could, and I did. Alright, well there you go, guys. That is the item portion of the Barb guide. I hope you guys liked it, and maybe it helped you out some, and give some of the variations a try if you're struggling getting drops. I know it really helped me. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to message me in the comment section. I check it pretty regularly, and I will get back to them as soon as possible. And yeah, just thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and keep on smashing! I'll see you guys later. Bye.